What's up, fam? Welcome to another episode, of Church Stories. If you're new here, Church Stories are actual, true to life, honest to goodness stories of events that my wife and I have experienced, witnessed, gone through, down through the years in the church. These are not made up. You cannot make this crap up. These are real life stories. Anyway, let's get into today's story. Today's story is about someone saying that God gave her a black eye. Yeah. Well, here's the story. Here's the scenario. The church that we were going to, as I've said in other videos, was a apostolic church, and we used to fellowship with this other church. And this other church was I don't know if they're still around, but they were off the chain, just buck wild church. If you know anything about an apostolic Pentecostal church, um, as soon as the music starts playing, the keyboardist doesn't even have to play a tune. All he's got to do is push a key and beep, and they start dancing, running, shouting, jumping, just, knocking over old people, stomping on babies if they get in the way. Well, this church was on a whole different level. They would knock pictures off walls. They would bounce into walls. They would bounce into each other. They were just buck wild. And I used to hate ushering when this church came. Hated it. But this particular night, I was stuck ushering. So at one point, the music's thumping, and the church is buck wild. They're shouting, they're praising God, and this one lady decided that she wanted to be the center of attention, so she went up to the front and was dancing. And her style of dancing, the only way I can explain it is she just kind of reminded me of Angus Young from AC/DC, where she was just shaking her head and just, like I said, buck wild. But as she's doing it, she throws her head back, and when she throws her head back, a big giant track from her weave flew off her head and flew in the sky and landed on the floor right in front of me. And my first instinct was to stomp on it like it was a wild animal. And but I looked up and I locked eyes with my pastor because she was up at the pulpit, and she's just looking at me. And I just looked at her and I said, "I'm not picking that up." And she busted out laughing. So anyway, service goes on. She eventually, I don't know if she picked it up or someone else picked it up. I didn't touch it. But service goes on. The preacher preaches, and it's the pastor's doing a altar call at the end of his sermon, and again, music's pumping. The church is going buck wild again, and this time it's the same lady, but she's not up in the front. She's actually standing in front of her chair, in front of her seat, and she's dancing the same way again. The church that we had, we didn't have pews. We had metal folding chairs. So we had rows of metal folding chairs. She's standing in front of hers, and then there's another row of chairs in front of her. And she's going buck wild all over again. And as she's doing it, all you hear is this loud bong. It sounded like someone slammed a bell. Over top of the keyboard, the drums, the bass, the people shouting, praising, screaming, dancing, stomping. All you heard was bong. And she brought her head up, and immediately her eye started to swell shut and turn purple. While doing this, she went down too far and too hard and slammed her face on the back of the metal chair in front of her. And when she came up and I saw it, I almost lost it because I was like, oh, cover my mouth before I cuss. So she cracked her eyes so hard. And the thing about it, she didn't stop. She came up, eyes swollen shut, and she kept going. the sheer grit. She kept dancing, and I was like, man. But after service, she had the nerve to walk around and show people her new black eye and tell people I was praising God so hard that the Holy Ghost gave me a black eye. Look at what the Holy Ghost did. He gave me a black eye. No, boo. The Holy Ghost don't do that. You did that yourself. So that's today's church story. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And don't forget, don't let what you've been through become you. Love you.